Most people believe that once temperatures drop below freezing, gardening is completely over and the land becomes useless until spring returns. But this belief is one of the biggest misunderstandings about how plants actually survive in nature. What? If I told you that some crops are not only capable of surviving brutal winters, heavy snowfall, and frozen ground, but can continue living through temperatures as low as -30 degrees Fahrenheit without dying? These plants don't simply endure winter by chance. They use biological survival systems that allow them to slow their growth, protect their cells, and wait patiently beneath snow cover, ready to feed you when almost everything else in the garden appears dead. If you care about food security, reducing grocery bills, and creating a garden that continues to work even in extreme cold, this video will completely change the way you see winter gardening forever. Winter is not the enemy of gardening. Ignorance is, because when you understand how plants respond to cold, winter becomes a tool instead of a threat. For centuries, farmers in cold climates have successfully grown food through snow, ice, and frozen ground by selecting the right crops and using simple protection methods that work with nature instead of against it. Snow is not harmful by default. In fact, it acts as a powerful natural insulator that protects plants from sudden temperature swings and shields them from drying winter winds. In this video, I'll show you 10 proven cold-hardy crops that can survive temperatures down to -30 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'll explain why they survive, how to grow them correctly, and how to harvest them safely throughout winter. These are not experimental plants or internet myths. These are reliable survivors tested by real winters. Cold-hardy crops survive winter because they grow slowly, store sugars inside their cells, and enter a semi-dormant state that protects them from freezing damage. Instead of fighting the cold, these plants prepare for it by strengthening their cell walls and reducing water movement, which prevents ice crystals from destroying plant tissue. Most of these crops complete their main growth before deep winter arrives, and then simply pause under snow, waiting for sunlight, longer days, and slightly warmer temperatures to resume growth. Now let's look at the specific plants that make winter gardening possible even in extreme cold. Kale is one of the most cold-resistant vegetables in the world and can easily survive temperatures below -20 degrees Fahrenheit when protected by snow, mulch, or even its own thick leaves. Cold weather actually improves kale's flavor by converting stored starches into natural sugars, which is why winter-harvested kale tastes sweeter and less bitter than summer-grown plants. Kale should be planted in late summer or early fall so it becomes fully established before hard freezes arrive and develops strong roots and tough leaves. Once mature, kale can survive repeated freezing and thawing cycles without serious damage because its thick leaf structure resists frost injury. Harvesting can continue throughout winter by picking outer leaves, allowing the center of the plant to remain alive and productive. Even when kale leaves freeze solid, they thaw perfectly on warmer days, proving kale is one of the most reliable survival greens available. Spinach is incredibly cold-hardy and can survive temperatures down to -30 degrees Fahrenheit when insulated by snow cover. Because spinach grows low to the ground, it is naturally protected from harsh winter winds and extreme temperature fluctuations. Spinach should be planted in early fall so it has time to develop a strong root system before winter dormancy begins. When temperatures drop sharply, spinach does not die but instead enters dormancy, preserving its energy underground under snow. Spinach remains green and alive, waiting patiently for increasing daylight. As late winter approaches, spinach resumes growth automatically, often becoming the first fresh green available in spring. Its natural antifreeze compounds protect its cells from freezing damage, making it one of the most dependable winter crops. Carrots are one of the best root crops for extreme cold because the soil itself acts as insulation against freezing air temperatures. When grown through winter, Carrots become noticeably sweeter because cold weather triggers sugar concentration inside the root. As a survival response, a thick layer of mulch or consistent snow cover prevents the ground from freezing solid, allowing carrots to remain harvestable even in deep winter. Underground, carrots can survive temperatures far below -30 degrees Fahrenheit without damage. Harvesting is done by carefully brushing away snow and mulch and digging gently to avoid breaking the roots. Carrots stored naturally in the soil remain crisp, fresh, and flavorful without refrigeration. This method has been used for centuries in cold regions, and winter carrots are often sweeter than any stored indoors. Leeks are one of the toughest cold season vegetables and can remain standing in frozen soil throughout the entire winter without rotting. Their thick stems and deep root systems protect them from extreme cold and repeated freeze-thaw cycles. Leeks are planted in spring or summer and allowed to mature slowly before winter arrives. Snow acts as insulation around the stalks, keeping temperatures stable near the plant base. Even when temperatures drop below -30 degrees Fahrenheit, leeks remain harvestable whenever the soil is workable. Unlike onions, leeks resist frost damage extremely well and maintain a mild, sweet flavor throughout winter. This makes leeks an excellent long-term winter food source. Garlic is naturally adapted to freezing temperatures and actually requires cold exposure to properly form bulbs. When planted in fall, garlic establishes roots before winter and then enters dormancy underground. With proper mulch, garlic can survive temperatures below -30 degrees Fahrenheit without harm. Snow and straw protect the cloves from freeze damage and moisture lost. Throughout winter, garlic stores energy underground, preparing for rapid growth in spring. As temperatures rise, garlic explodes into growth almost immediately. Garlic proves that winter is not a dead season, but a necessary part of the growing cycle. Cabbage survives extreme cold by forming dense heads that naturally protect inner leaves from freezing temperatures. Cold-hardy cabbage varieties can survive deep freezes once they are fully mature. Even if outer leaves freeze or die, the inner head remains intact and edible. Cabbage stores sugars inside its cells, which act as natural antifreeze. Snow further insulates the plant and reduces temperature stress. Harvesting can continue through winter by peeling away damaged outer leaves. Cabbage becomes sweeter after frost exposure and has been grown in cold climates for generations. Brussels sprouts are famous for surviving extreme cold and heavy snow conditions. They grow tall, strong stalks that resist freezing damage and support developing sprouts. Repeated frost exposure dramatically improves their flavor by increasing sugar levels. These plants can survive temperatures close to -30 degrees Fahrenheit with snow cover. Harvesting continues from the bottom upward throughout winter. Each sprout remains firm and edible even after freezing, making Brussels sprouts one of the most reliable winter vegetables. Match is one of the most cold-hardy leafy greens in existence and thrives in conditions that kill most plants. It survives temperatures well below -20 degrees Fahrenheit and grows comfortably under snow. Match forms dense, low-growing rosettes that trap heat near the soil surface. It requires very little light to survive winter. Snow acts as insulation rather than a threat. Leaves remain tender, mild, and edible throughout winter, making it a favorite in European winter gardens. Parsnips require cold exposure to develop their best flavor and texture. Like carrots, they survive winter underground where soil and mulch protect them from extreme cold. Temperatures below -30 degrees Fahrenheit do not harm parsnips when properly insulated. Cold conditions convert starch into sugar, creating exceptionally sweet roots. Parsnips are often left in the ground until spring harvest. They are one of the best natural long-term storage crops grown directly in soil. Winter rye is one of the most cold-resistant crops ever cultivated by humans. It survives extreme freezes, heavy snow, and powerful winter winds. Rye establishes in fall and continues slow growth throughout winter. It resumes rapid growth early in spring. Before most plants wake up, its roots survive deep freezes with ease, protecting soil and producing food. Winter rye represents pure cold adaptation and resilience. Winter does not end gardening. It reveals which plants are truly strong and which systems truly work. These crops prove that food can be grown even in the harshest environments when knowledge replaces fear. If you plan wisely and choose the right plants, winter becomes a season of abundance instead of scarcity. If this video changed how you see winter gardening, like the video and subscribe for more survival-level growing knowledge. And comment below which cold hardy crop surprised you the most.